Okay, sweet. Yeah, dude, I don't know. This NFL slate, it's been looking kind of greasy. Let's see, I gotta get that YouTube link up. Okay, sweet. Hey, did you peep that I switched my Twitter handle?
I did not.
Oh, what is it? Is it showing up for you? Or,
For your Twitter handle?
yeah.
Let me see.
Shit, I gotta switch this too.
Oh yeah, I see now.
Yeah. I switched my Twitter handle to my actual name. I kept on like looking at props from Prime, and I'm like, bruh, I really don't like this name at all. This shit sounds like shit. So I'm like, fuck this. I'm switching it. Okay, I do not know how to switch my name on this, but okay, yeah. So guys, I think we got like 5 props today, and I definitely got a couple leans too, like some shit that I'm just on the verge of playing, but just can't get to it. Okay. Oh, edit name. There we go. Okay, sweet. How did Thursday Night Football go for you? Did you have any bets on?
I had 0 bets all week.
Too busy grinding school.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel it. Hey, we gotta get our degree first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This shit over with.
Yeah. Thursday night. I think I went 1-2. I had like a pretty free under. I bet as soon as I saw Puka and Cupper playing, Tutu Atwell was at 2.5 receptions for plus 130 to the under. I'm like, dude, like, why is he catching 3 balls when like Demarcus Robinson's active too? So that show was
Yeah.
good, but I had Addison, did not go too well, and then I had a Kyron under rushing attempts. I'm like, oh, short week. Vikings run defense was like first in EPA. I'm like, okay, that's got to go good, and it just doesn't matter. That dude gets 20 carries every week, so
Yeah, the short week doesn't help at all to game plan.
Yeah, well, I thought the short week could have maybe helped get Corum a little bit more, and I think Corum actually got like 4 carries, but just not enough. He didn't get enough from Kyron, so
yeah, when you got a Bell Cow running back, they're not gonna limit them that much on a short week.
Yeah, McVay just doesn't give a shit about limiting anyone, I don't think.
Yeah, he always likes a Bell Cow style type of running back.
Yeah. All right, well, we hit the century mark, so why don't we start giving out props? I got 3 props, you got 2 props, so I'll go first with this one. Let's start off with, I went with Cedric Tillman over 3.5 receptions. Right now, that is currently plus 125 at Bet 365. I played that for only half a unit. And then I played Cedric Tillman's receiving yards. I think I got it at 36.5. It's 38.5 now. MGM, Caesars, 39 at FanDuel, DraftKings. I still like it there. And I like the 3.5 receptions at plus money, but win a full unit on the yards, win a half unit on the receptions. And yeah, so Cedric Tillman, this is probably my favorite spot of the week, to be honest. It's a matchup against Baltimore. That's awesome, right? We know Baltimore, they're elite against the run. They're second in run defense EPA. They're first in success rate. They're allowing the most passing yards due to this. They're allowing the 5th most wide receiver receptions, the 3rd most wide receiver receiving yards. So just anytime you're playing Baltimore, right, you just kind of know that they're going to sell out, stop the run, and make you drop back and pass. So Cedric Tillman last week, obviously Amari Cooper got traded. He was a full-time wide receiver. He had an 82% rail participation. He put up 12 targets, 8 receptions, 81 yards last week. And to be honest, like I didn't know that Tillman had that like in his game, to be honest. I kind of thought he would just more of like a deep threat, almost like a Jalen Hyatt type receiver where he's never really going to get a lot of targets and there's going to be inconsistent and stuff like that. I don't have it up right now. But if you search up Cedric Tillman on Twitter, they post like a beautiful thing about his route tree. JJ, you have access to that, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Well, Cedric Tillman, his route tree was like a ton of underneath stuff, a ton of crossing routes, just like a ton of like easy like routes that lead to receptions, right? And when I saw that, I was just like shocked. I'm like, okay, like this really last week wasn't really a fluke. Like he actually took over a decent route tree and stuff. So um I don't have it up, but if you don't believe me, search up Cedric Tillman on Twitter. I have the screenshot. I want to quick shout out the account for it because you got to give credit where credit is due. It was John Legeza. And yeah, he just posted like a picture of the route tree, and it was beautiful. I liked it a lot. So yeah, he also had a 31.3 first read share last week too. So that's like another thing that's like, oh, it's not fluky. He was getting first read targets and stuff. And then two also massive things. Like I said, this play just checked all the boxes for me. We're getting Jameis Winston this week. That's a massive QB upgrade compared to Deshaun Watson. Like when it comes to supporting wide receiver, tight end production, like Jameis Winston's like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL for that, and Deshaun Watson was one of the worst. And then the final little nugget is that Stefanski has officially given up play calling and giving it to Ken Dorsey. Ken Dorsey was with Buffalo. He's a very pass-heavy coordinator, and we saw that once Brady took over, how much littler or how fewer Josh Allen was passing and stuff. So Dorsey skews very pass-heavy. So we get the quarterback upgrade. We get the matchup where they're going to have to pass a lot. They're 9-point dogs. Cedric Tillman is taking over a nice role. And I just think that this play literally checks every single box for me.
Yeah, for me, it'd be like Cedric Tillman or David Njoku. Like, they're just going to be airing it out regardless. They don't have an offensive line that can run block. You know, Nick Chubb is still trying to work his way back. But regardless, even if he did work his way back, it's not going to make a difference with this offensive line. And then you got Baltimore, who just, as you said, like they just bleed yards through the air. Run game is almost impenetrable. I mean, I think he's probably going to be like their wide receiver too in terms of like their pecking order. Because I mean, technically it should be Jerry Jeudy, but I think that should free up Tillman regardless. I think I've seen Marlon Humphrey still doubtful. So that's good. I mean, even though he hasn't been playing well this season, in my opinion, that still helps him a lot there. I think it's going to be a whole lot of passing volume here.
Yeah,
Should be plenty to go around.
Yeah, I don't know what you think about Jerry Jeudy, dude, but I'm a Broncos fan, and like he gets all this hype because he has like cool routes in like off-season videos. Like he's like the Ben Simmons of the NFL, where he's got like cool off-season videos and then just doesn't really do much like when he's actually playing. So I mean, do you think Judy's like a good receiver? Because I think that like if Tillman's actually like legit and he can prove, then he might just be straight up better than Jeudy.
I wouldn't say he's better than Jeudy. He's always been in a bad situation. I mean, look at Courtland Sutton, like he's getting passed up right now by Troy Franklin, and that's all the hype right now. But I mean, yeah, he just needs a better situation. But hopefully, Jameis Winston is able to give that to him, and we can see what happens the second half of the season.
No, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I just think Judy's like, you know, Steve Smith is like just a guy. I kind of think he might be right. So I don't know. I don't think that like there's not a true alpha to like command targets. So if Tillman's getting like schemed up good looks, he's running a decent route tree, I think that he can put up numbers. So but anyways, it's like just the sheer amount of passing volume like should be absurd here. So I don't know. Jameis overs. I wouldn't disagree with anyone if they said like, oh, I want to play an over on X receiver. Like I'd be like, all right. I mean, the passing volume is like there. So
yeah.
All right, JJ, kicking it to you. Let's hear your first player prop.
Yeah, my first player prop is going to be Chase Brown over 50.5 rushing yards. Should be -113 on FanDuel. The last 4 games, he's had like 10 plus carries. In games of like 7 plus carries, he's gone over in 3 or 5 games. It seems like this backfield is starting to go in his favor as far as the workload. I mean, last week was a tough matchup. He did face the Browns, who they do give up like explosive plays and all that, but stacking the box with a smaller back is typically like not the best recipe for success. And he kind of fits that profile, but now he's like facing the complete opposite with the Eagles this week, who stacked the box at one of the lowest rates in the league, but also have the light box at the highest rate in the league right now, according to NFL Pro. He has been efficient this season, 5 yards per carry, and against light box, he's averaging 5.9 yards per carry, plus 45 rushing yards over expectation. I think like with the Bengals not being able to like really get like yards before contact, they're 28th in the league right now, according to FTN. But the Eagles are ranked 23rd in rush DVOA right now, and they're allowing the 6th most yards before contact. He's getting a lot of production like after contact, so I think is like the perfect recipe for success here. As long as he gets like his little 5 yards per carry and gets like 10 plus carries here, like he has been doing the last like 4 games or so, like I think this should be a solid spot for him. I definitely think he's gonna rip a couple off here too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I mean he outcarried Moss 15-6 last week. Zach Moss is averaging, let me quick pull it up. Zach Moss is averaging 3.35 yards per carry on the year now. I think that they're just like not completely done with him, but they're just like, okay, like
they're kind of phasing him out a little bit.
Yeah, like
week
Chase
by week.
Brown is way better than him. Like, why are we like wasting carries with Moss, right? And yeah, I mean, yeah, light boxes, Eagles run defense isn't very good. Chase Brown's like one of those guys, like he just he's shot out of a cannon. Like that's like the perfect way to describe Chase Brown. And if he's going up against like a light box and he can get that head of steam, like if he's going up against like a stacked box and they contact him early, like he's just gonna get like a lot of like 2-yard carries and stuff. But like when he's facing a light box and stuff, and there's like a little crease for him, like he's gonna keep on ripping off like explosive runs and like consistent 8, consistent 10, and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, like realistically, I think he could get here in like 10 or 11 carries, but with the way like the split's going, like I think that Brown's I'd pencil him in for like 13 to 14 rushing attempts like most week or more, even if they're having a lot of success. So yeah, I mean Brown's just like a really, really damn good running back, man. Like I'm so happy that he's actually getting the job over Moss because he's just way better than him. So I'm glad that the coaching staff is like seeing that, and yeah, man, like that could easily get here too.
Definitely. What's your next play?
All right, let's stay in the same game. I'm going Jalen Hurts over 219. I think it's 218 actually. Let me quick. I gave this out at 215.5, but it's like a passing yard prop, and like this really isn't a big difference. I like it honestly to like 224.5. Yeah, the 218.5 is actually the best number at Caesars -118. So play it there if you can. But yeah, Jalen Hurts. I think that this is just a kind of a crazy low line when he has AJ Brown and when he has Devontae Smith healthy. So in games with AJ Brown this year, he's averaging 8.96 yards per attempt. In games without AJ Brown, he's averaging 6.52 yards per attempt. So to put this into context, his passing attempts line is at 28.5, and I lean over on that. But anyways, so with AJ Brown in, if he like calculating it by 28.5, right, that would put him at 255.4 yards. And then if you like do his yards per attempt with 28.5 passing attempts with AJ Brown out this year, that'll put him at 185.8. So obviously we know AJ Brown's like, he's just a dog. Like he can rip off an explosive play anytime. He's elite. He opens the field up for Smitty. He's just one of the best receivers in the game. And like, it obviously makes sense why Jalen Hurts is like way better when he's in. So their run defense over the last few weeks, they've actually been like pretty good. They allowed 3.15 yards per carry to the Giants running backs, and then 2.06 yards per carry to the Browns running backs last week. And the week before that, before Derrick Henry had that 55-yard rush in overtime, they actually limited him to 14 for 41 on the ground. So I'm kind of thinking like Saquon's been ridiculous on the ground. He's been super good. We know that Eagles have that good offensive line. We know that they can run the ball good, but I think if Cincy is gonna have to put an emphasis on either stopping the run or the pass, I think that with how good this run game has been for Philly, I think that the emphasis would be on stopping the run a little bit more. And then Cincy, like they're not good. Like they're 21st in dropback EPA, they're 21st in pressure rate, and the pressure rate is like a really key thing for Jalen Hurts because Jalen Hurts per PFF, he's the 35th graded quarterback out of 38 quarterbacks when he's under pressure. And then when he has a clean pocket, he's 8 out of 38. So like he's terrible under pressure, really good with a clean pocket, and Cincy hasn't been great at generating pressure. Philly's also like a rare underdog, and I just like trust like a fully healthy Bengals offense with Burrow, Jamar, T. Higgins, Chase Brown actually getting reps now instead of Zach Moss, so they have a run game. I trust like a fully healthy like Bengals offense, at least with like the skill position to like put up points and to push Philly a bit. Like Philly played the Giants last week and Hurts attempted 14 passes. So I think we're kind of getting a low line because of that. And like obviously like the Giants offense can stink it up randomly. But I like I said, I trust the Bengals offense to consistently like put up points and push them a little bit. So like I think this is like a good spot for their pass volume. And I think that if we get good pass volume with like a healthy AJ Brown, a healthy Devontae Smith against a team that doesn't generate pressure, like I just think that this line's too low for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, you covered pretty much every single point I would have added on to things. Just simplify it. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith playing. This line is just simply too low.
Yeah. Like I remember like week 1, I think it was like 240.5. And then in week 2 with AJ Brown active or inactive with the hamstring issue, I played Hurts like under 235.5 passing yards. So like why was that line 235.5 with AJ Brown out and now Brown's back and it's like 200, it's under 220, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't really get that. And yeah, since he should be able to put up points, hopefully Chase Brown rips off like an 80-yard rush, gets that negative game script flowing, and then we're both fucking cooking. Oh,
Joel said
just got a question. Oh fuck, are you kidding me? Damn, nice, bro. I mean, hopefully that doesn't affect things too much. Hopefully he plays, but just spewed all that shit about how I trust the Bengals fully healthy to put up points, and then T. Higgins pops up with the hammy. Not great, late week hammy. Yeah. Anyways, JJ, brighten the mood a little bit. Give us a winner. I'm sad.
Got Kyler Murray over 34.5 rushing yards. Should be minus 115 on DraftKings. He's been scrambling a lot against high pressure rate teams. I think he's top 10 in scramble rate when pressured. Per NFL Pro, he's faced 4 teams so far within the top 15 in pressure percentage. And in those games, he's rushed for 57 yards against Buffalo, 59 against the Rams, 83 against the 49ers, and 64 against the Chargers. And Dolphins right now, I believe, are top 3. If not, they might be number 1 overall in pressure rate according to NFL Pro. They haven't really faced many like rushing QBs. Like the only ones so far like that fit that bill is Josh Allen and Anthony Richardson. Obviously, with that Josh Allen primetime game, that was a blowout from the start. He didn't have to run at all because I remember having the pressure. Like I took his Josh Allen's rushing attempts, didn't need to run at all. Pretty sure he sat out most, like at least half or most of the fourth quarter. Up a solid amount. Richardson last week, he got pressured a good amount. I think 60% of his dropbacks, and that turned into 14 total rushing attempts. I think 56 yards. Arizona's offensive line is all right, but when he does get pressure, we always see him running around back there. I think is the perfect time for him to just continue to scramble. And he's also gone over this line in 5 out of 7 games this season.
Hell yeah, dude. One thing I'll add on to support your bet, I really like Miami's offense. I think that the Cardinals defense kind of sucks. They were okay last week. They were pretty good against the Chargers, but they were decimated. And just like Miami's offense is literally fully healthy. I know Tyreek's questionable, but I feel like this dude's always questionable with some shit and like just isn't practicing, and then he plays and drops like 150 yards when Tua's healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're getting Tua back, right? So I mean, like, yeah, Miami's offense against bad defenses when fully healthy, like they can like put up points like super fast, which I think that Arizona plays from behind and you get like some extra Kyler dropbacks. They might have to abandon the run a little bit here. So just to support it, I think we can get some additional dropbacks. Dude, one thing like Kyler's averaging 9.3 or 9.03 rushing yards per attempt this year. He is so good when he like runs the ball. He's just so fast and can just like rip off explosive runs. Like I don't know like why they don't just like do more design runs with him.
Um, Maybe they're just scared of him getting hurt.
Didn't hurt.
Maybe because
Yeah.
of the small stature. But I mean, outside of that, I couldn't really tell you.
Yeah, dude, he is just like I think Arizona's like leaving a lot of like meat on the bone for their offense. Like they make Kyler like a constant threat, like where he's doing more than just scrambling, like some more read options and stuff. I think they're leaving a lot of, like I said, a lot of meat on the bone on the overall offense just by not unlocking Kyler more as a rusher. But yeah, a lot of pressure, a lot of dropbacks. Hopefully that can create a lot of scramble opportunities. This dude is fast as shit. He only needs like two if you get lucky to get there. But yeah, I think maybe if
Yeah.
you get like 5 scrambles, 6 scrambles, then he should cover this pretty easily. All right, this one might be like a little bit dicey, but I like dicey shit. And we got some good coach speak, some really good coach speak. And I'm rolling with the new man in town, D Hop, over 36.5 receiving yards. A quick check on the best price for you, real quick. D Hop. Yeah, minus 110 bet 365, minus 120 at MGM. Then there's a 38.5 at DraftKings and a 39.5 at Caesars too. D Hop. So basically, Andy Reid, he went on. He had, how he does like that little show. He said on his show that DeAndre Hopkins is going to play where Rashi Rice and Juju Smith-Schuster play, like in the slot. That role is like been absolutely money. So Rashi Rice, obviously, like D Hop at this age isn't as good as Rashi Rice, but I mean, Rashi Rice put up 103, 75, 110 receiving yards, ridiculous target share. Then Juju comes out in his first game, like full time operating in like the slot role for Kansas City. He had 130 yards. Like Juju's like not very good anymore. Like I think he's fine. I think people might hate on him a little bit, but D Hop is like a much better receiver than Juju. So now he's gonna get in the slot role. D Hop he actually had like quietly like a really good season last year. But he's just been in QB hell the last 2 years. So I think that people might be thinking like he's washed or something, but I think that he's just been in QB hell. He's like a very high IQ receiver. He's gonna know how to be in the slot and find like the little holes in the zone. And obviously he's like a ball winner. So contesting situations, he can make plays. I don't know. I think he's still like a very good receiver at like the bare minimum. I think that he's still like a lot better than Juju. So yeah, he's been in QB hell. The numbers have been a little bit down. Also, just like when wide receivers join like a new team, like quarterbacks, offensive coordinators, I feel like they like to look their way early and just like get him a couple targets, get him involved early. So like you could look up and he caught the first 2 balls of the game for like 25 yards or something. But yeah, so this is just like purely a bet on the role that he's playing. Like the slot role for the Chiefs, like Xavier Worthy doesn't get targets. Like he doesn't get open. He doesn't command targets. Kelsey does, but he's getting up there in age. Justin Watson on the outside, obviously he just like runs straight. And yeah, they're without Juju, they're without Rice. Obviously, Sky Moore is even out. Like Nicole Hardman might play a little bit, but yeah, I'm not worried about. Like I'm sure he's not going to play as much snaps as he is going to be next week, but if he's going to get that role, the Juju Rice role, like I don't care. Like I think that he's going to have a ridiculous like targets per route ran, yards per route ran. I think that he's just going to be super efficient, and I think that he's still like a pretty damn good player.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna be better than what we have at Juju right now. Yeah, if he definitely gets that slot role, I think I like it a lot. I think his profile definitely fits better as like an X receiver, but because I know the coach speak has been talking about like he'll get the quote unquote Rashid Rice role. I definitely see them splitting it up, like maybe like 60% out at X and then like 40% in the slot or something like that, just to like utilize him to his full potential. I think it'll be enough snaps for him to definitely like get a lot of his yards from the slot.
Yeah. Yeah. The exact shout out Coach Speak Index, by the way. I recommend you guys to join his Discord. It's like $5 a month only. And he does like a super professional job of like getting the quotes out. He'll put the videos in, and I know he posts them to Twitter too. So give him a follow too, Coach Speak Index. But the exact quote was, Andy, quote unquote, DeAndre Hopkins will work in those spots that Juju and Rashi did. So yeah, I mean, just that quote enough, 36.5. Like I had to play this. I don't think there's a reception line out. I'm not sure if he's gonna have like the highest ADOT. I don't think he will have the highest ADOT, but I think that there was 3.5 receptions at like plus money, because that's usually what these like 36.5 lines are. I think that's another great look too. But yeah, had to let that D Hop one rip. He ain't washed. He just been held back by Banana Boy for too long.
To be fair, he chose to go there.
He did.
Knowing the situation.
Yeah. Banana Boy was just like overthrowing him and just fucking around and eating mayo and shit. So yeah. Let's see here. Do you have any like very strong leans, JJ? Because I have one.
I do not.
Okay. I have a really strong lean, and I feel like in the past I've been really good at like backup running back spots. I feel like I've kind of been ass at that this year, but my urges are tingling for this one. I really like Braylon Allen over 16.5 rushing yards. The Patriots like run defense has been so fucking bad recently. I'm pulling it up right now, but Patriots. Okay, yep. So the Patriots over the last 4 weeks, the 49ers, Jordan Mason went 24 for 123. I mean, that's a great scheme. He's a good running back. So the Dolphins guys combined to go 36 for 187, and that's like an obvious running spots with no quarterbacks, right? So like you should know it's coming. You should be able to stop it. Joe Mixon, Dameon Pierce, they combined to go 25 for 185 on the ground. And then the Jaguars run game, which has been pretty non-existent all year, just went 35 for 156 on the ground. So Patriots run defense has been absolutely terrible. And then I get that the Jets have like kind of been in the shitter, and Braylon Allen also, like this line's at 16.5 for a reason. Like Breece Hall has been a complete workhorse, but I kind of feel like that's due to like these games that they've been like trailing kind of recently. Like against Buffalo, they were obviously against Pittsburgh. They were the week before that against Minnesota, I believe. Let me pull it up. Braylon Allen. Yep, against Minnesota. So the last 3 games, they've just been like trailing, right? And like obviously Braylon Allen's like a Derrick Henry type back. Like he's just not really going to be on the field. They're 7-point favorites here. Like I said, I get that the Jets have been ass, but Devontae Adams kind of like lit up the team in the locker room. And, you know, I think like little stuff like that matters. Like he said, like what are you doing? Like you guys aren't playing hard. You guys aren't like supporting your teammates and stuff. Like they're getting Hassan Reddick back. The Patriots suck. Like I'd hope that they can play with the lead and have a ton of team rushing attempts against this bad defense. And if that's the case, then like I think if they play with the lead, I think that Braylon Allen's gonna get his work, like get his 7-8 carries, because he's a damn good running back too. And if there's just like a lot to go around, I think that could happen. But like I said, I've kind of been ass at picking backup running backs to go over. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. But JJ, do you have any thoughts on that? Do you think I'm on to something, or do you think I'm overthinking it?
You know, it's really hard to say because they've been in like trailing game scripts, and then at the same time you got a new offensive coordinator taking control, like calling plays. Like it's kind of hard to tell. So I don't really have a lean either way. We just need a bigger sample size, really. That's about it.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Like, and yeah, the fact that it's happened with like a new offensive coordinator is definitely making me pause. But I don't know, dude. Just like it makes sense why Braylon wouldn't be getting touches in a trailing game script in my head, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so 16.5 just feels really low against a bad run defense. I'm probably gonna play it, and it's probably gonna lose, but sometimes you just gotta let it rip.
I feel that.
All right. You said you don't have any leans, JJ, or
I don't.
you don't? Okay. I want to talk about another lean, I guess. Oh, actually, this might be a play. So do you want to hear a pretty ridiculous stat? If I can get it pulled up.
See it.
Dontavian Wicks against man coverage.
I looked at that earlier today.
Has a
I haven't seen any lines for him.
It's up.
Oh, it's up now?
Yep. Dontavian Wicks versus man coverage has a 50% targets per route ran rate, which is insane. But the problem is he's had 18 targets, 22 routes, or not 18, 11 targets, 22 routes, and he's turned that in his 11 targets into 30 yards. But to be honest, like when you're looking at stuff like this, all I'm really looking for is like the targets. So yeah, 22 routes, 11 targets, 20.8 average depth of target, and he's only turned that into 30 yards. But I mean, you gotta love to see the targets, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and
volume is king.
Volume is king. So that's something that intrigued me. Another thing, Jaden Reed against man has ran 40 routes, and he has a 2 ADOT. He has 7 targets, and he's turned it into 8 yards. So it's kind of crazy. Christian Watson and Dontavian Wicks are actually like the 2 alphas against man coverage here, and they're playing against Jacksonville, who runs a ton of man. But the thing is, like, they like have been eating away at each other's snaps. Like Dobbs has been like the consistent guy on one of the guys on the outside, and then Reed's in the slot consistently, and then it's Wicks and Dobbs who, or Wicks and Watson who just like eat away at each other's snaps. So Watson's at 28.5, Wicks is at 25.5. I think like both of them are like decent looks, but would you play a Reed under, JJ?
I'd rather play a Dobbs under, to be honest.
Yeah, 49.5. Wow. Let's see Dobbs against man. Dobbs is at a 19% targets per route ran rate, 1.71 yards per route ran rate. So that's not as bad as Reed. Or Reed's actually terrible, but yeah. Also just like not the biggest sample, but all right. Let's see. Is there anything else that I liked? I don't think so. JJ, do you have anything else that you liked?
I do not.
No? Okay.
Quick,
all right.
easy.
Well, I think that's yeah. Yep. All right. Well, I think that's about to wrap it up. Appreciate you guys for listening in. Like I said at the beginning, I did switch my Twitter handle just to my name, Tyven. Yeah, Tyven Klinger. That's my new name, or that's my actual name. But that's my new Twitter name because, like I said, that props from Prime shit would just like pissing me off. Every time someone tagged me in something, I like cringed. I'm like, dude, my name is like fucking ass. Like I don't like this at all. So switch it. But yeah, so I'm not a fraud or nothing. But all right, that's gonna do it. JJ, appreciate you coming on with me, giving out some props. And like I said, thank you guys for tuning in again. Peace out.